Okay. So, taiyar hai aap? Are you ready, Kareena? Can we start?
Yes, I'm ready, and thank you so much because the book is even more special because it has you who are, launching it with me today, which I think is, I when Chicky asked me who I wanted and what would I said, I actually want to just launch this book with Karan because he's a brother and I think it would be perfect. He's like my family, and having his voice behind my book, it would make my day.
Well, I am really excited, honored, and full of love right now. And I can't believe that you've been brave enough to actually write this pregnancy Bible. So I really want to address that right at the top with you, Kareena, is because it takes a lot. It takes a lot for anyone and even a woman to kind of tell a tell-all book on pregnancy. So what was that one aspect, or rather that one moment that motivated you to actually go ahead and give the green signal to this book?
I think when Chicky called me, in fact, it took me 15 minutes to actually just tell her that I want to do it and I'm going to do it. And I said that the only way I'm going to do this is if I'm allowed to be honest. And she was like, I'm actually shocked that you being a celebrity, would you actually be honest enough to talk about certain things? I said, if the book is going to allow me to do that, I want to do it because there's no other way. I don't know any other way but to just how I am. I speak from my heart, and that's exactly what I've done through Tim and Jay's pregnancies. I mean, I think it's just like I've said, we've spoken and touched about topics that probably a lot of mothers and expecting mothers won't want to address. Karan.
Kareena, I'm sorry to disturb you. Everyone's saying there's an echo coming from your end. Is there a device right next to you that you can? There's an echo coming from your end.
Is there an echo somehow?
All the comments are saying
now,
there's an echo.
Check.
Kareena, a lot of echo. All the comments are saying a lot of echo. Your voice is not.
My voice is echoing. And because, should I wear my AirPods?
Is Kareena the problem with your voice? Mine is coming to everybody.
The problem with my voice. Let's try AirPods.
Try your AirPods.
Yeah, just try. Let's switch on the AirPods. Is it better?
Is it better now? Are you hearing Kareena more clear without the echo?
This is better. I
Karan
can hear
is
you
fine.
clearer now.
Somebody saying loud. Okay. Is everyone finding Kareena audible, guys? Just wanted your feedback.
I think somebody saying voice आ रही है दोनों की proper.
Voice आ रही है, पढ़ लिया आपने ये?
हाँ, मैंने पढ़ लिया क्या आ रही है.
हाँ, Karan, voice and connection is proper. Hi, gorgeous from Trinidad. Okay, I don't know. I think she probably meant you. Yes, Pompey is saying it's okay now. Pompey is saying it's okay.
Pompey has told us and given us the go ahead.
To context, what Kareena really said that she would only want to write this book if she was actually allowed to be completely bone honest, which from what I've read, Kareena, you have been. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of gumption to actually write a tell-all book. And I'm actually glad that you did because it's immensely informative and very motivating to so many millions of women who are going to read it. Now,
absolutely.
I'm going to actually jump right into it, Bebo, because I think it's important that we get to the crux of the matter. When there is, firstly, you've had two bona fide, beautiful children. And what I admired the most about you, especially when it came to your second child, are we allowed to mention his name out in the public domain now? Can we say that you call him what you call him?
Yeah, Jay Ali Khan.
Okay, Jay Ali Khan. So when Jay was born, the one moment that I really felt very proud of you is that you worked right through your second trimester. right through. You shot Lal Singh
Yeah.
Chaddha in the peak of your pregnancy. In your eighth
Yeah, I
month,
did a romantic song with Amir Khan, like 5.5 months pregnant.
8 months into your pregnancy, maybe even beyond that, you were on sets, you were doing endorsements, you were finishing your film projects, you were
Yeah.
doing everything. And I think that's one thing that you broke a myth, because everyone is so paranoid during, a pregnancy at home. Couples that
Yeah,
are pregnant are always paranoid. Ye mat karo, wo mat karo, so many do's and don'ts. You
of
kind of broke the
course.
shackles of all those myths. What is I mean, what gave you the confidence to do that? Was it your family or was it you yourself?
I think, of course, it was me wanting to actually just, be happy and work. And when I'm working, when I'm out and about, when I'm doing things that I love, I think I'm the happiest. And of course, a lot of support from Saif. I think what is most important when you're pregnant and when of course you're going to become a mother, I think what a pregnant woman really wants to hear is words of comfort and encouragement from her spouse. I think she wants her husband to make her feel loved, happy, safe. And I think that's what, Saif exactly made me feel. And he allowed me to do that. And I think most wives and mothers, expecting mothers, should make sure that their husbands give them ample love and comfort.
And that's most important and not to treat you like you're a patient. You're pregnant.
Exactly.
You're not a
Yeah, and
patient.
allow you to do what you want to do, because
Yes.
that's most important. And like that's what I told everyone that, I'm not ill, I'm not sick. Of course, we're living in COVID. When I was pregnant with Jay, it was COVID times. With all safety protocols, we kind of, managed to do a lot of shoots, and it was, it kept me it kept me alive. It kept me, happy in times that were so difficult. But of course, there was that constant fear that, what is going to happen? What if I get COVID? Will my child get COVID? So I mean, there was a lot of trauma in the last trimester, I would say, in my mind mentally, of like
Right.
wanting to step out and do things, but still. So, but like you said, family support, and you know me, I'm no guts, no glory. That's the kind of girl
Yes.
I am.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that you have shown in abundance as an actor. Now, there are so many of us, I mean, especially men, who are so ignorant about what a woman goes through during pregnancy. I mean, someone like me, a little more aware, little more, I would say, tuned into a woman's emotional needs, requirements,
Yeah.
insecurities, because I've had very open conversations with women and really regard their opinions on it. What you did in the film Good News, the scene that you actually spoke about, ironically, is very close to so many of the aspects that your book covers. When you tell the
Yeah.
character in the film, Akshay's character in the film, about like you don't know anything that a woman goes through. You really
Exactly.
go. There are mood swings. Your body changes. You can't eat what you need to. Like everything, there's swelling in your feet and
Yeah.
your everything. Your body just goes through a metamorphosis. Um,
Yeah.
when you talk about those things, and I don't address this to you as an artist, as an actor, Kareena, I tell you this as address this as a woman. When you stare at yourself and see your body change, when literally when you are staring at yourself, in the mirror with the way the body evolves and changes during a pregnancy, what does that make you feel? And my second question to that is, what is your advice to women out there who go through those deep rooted insecurities, staring at themselves in the mirror during their pregnancy moments?
I've had those moments, especially in with my second pregnancy. I think when I came back from the hospital and I looked at myself in the mirror, I thought that, okay, this is, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to, like, be okay. And being an actor, you do have a part of you, not that it's not vanity. It's about, wanting to just, feel like, okay, fine, I'm fit and I can be back again on my toes. I thought I'll never be able to. Like, I was like, there was obviously fear of breastfeeding that, because I wasn't getting enough when I delivered Jay. So there was a lot of mental distress that I was going through at that time.
Right.
Then I felt like my body had stretched. My feet were feeling like 100 kgs. Like I felt like, oh my God, because this pregnancy current was very difficult compared to Temur's. Temur's was a breeze. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And that
Right.
actually gave me the courage to do it again. But this time was very, very different. And I mean, I had bouts of, where I would probably just like, sit down on the, on the pot and be like, I don't think I can do this. So I don't think, anything is going to be okay. And obviously it's also like, I feel expected mothers who deliver after, when you deliver, I think the first 15-20 days, there's not enough sleep. You don't know. It's also like you're delirious. You don't really know exactly what's happening, because
Right.
there's just so much pressure. And so when you get that moment alone in the bathroom and you look at yourself, I think you just think that, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. But, of course, as time goes on and, you have love and support and help, like, whether from mom, Lolo, Seth, everyone, I think, then it just gets better and better. And when you look at, your son or daughter and you have that moment of just, your child and you, I think it just changes everything.
There's sorry to again stop you. Again, there's talk about an echo. Everyone is again commenting on an echo that is coming from your end.
Again, an echo?
I'm reading Bebo echo, Bebo echo.
Oh God. But now I can hear you and like very clearly.
I'm actually, you're very audible to me. Is the echo, Kareena's voice is cracking. Can't hear Kareena probably. At your end, is there anyone who can address this echo situation, or should we just continue?
Why is there an echo coming in? Do you want to check?
Now somebody's telling me to wear the AirPods.
Somebody's saying no echo, Karan.
Echo. I'm only reading echo.
Somebody's saying it's fine. No, it's not.
Okay. Should we just continue then and hope people can hear us? But there is echo.
Is it just, can you all check if you'll
It's fine from both ends now.
It's
Tanvi
audible.
Parora has
Someone
said
is saying
it's
it's fine, no echo.
And someone has just abused me and said there's no echo. But chalo, okay. I'm used to that. All right. So Kareena, back to your feelings of insecurity and how you felt. So were there moments where there were lots of breakdowns, Len? There were like breakdowns. Did you feel like a little emotionally battered in moments as well? You found yourself weak and crying and like lost in this process?
Yeah, I think so because this, like I said, the second time when I delivered Jay was in February. I was worried that I was going into a hospital.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going to happen in, the OT? Is it going to be okay? Because you were hearing so many stories constantly, in COVID times, and it was the peak of COVID. Um, just that worry of even carrying him out for the first time out of the hospital, it was just overwhelming to know that,
Yeah.
is it okay? I mean, we can be masked, he can't be masked. Is everything going to be fine? So I think it was all of that combination, and a lot of issues that we forget is that after delivery, we obviously everyone's focused on the child, everyone's focused on the baby, but I feel that the most important person is the mother. We need to actually, she needs the most support, which
Yes.
I think people, tend to forget, whether it's friends or family. They're just excited in looking at the baby and, wow, amazing. But no one's looking at us. So I think that is something that fathers and families shouldn't forget.
Now, you basically also, Kareena, not just because you're in the business of entertainment, but you also took the guidance of Rujuta, your dietitian, as well as Namrata Purohit, your
Yeah.
with the exercise routine. Would you advise women to actually go down the process of actually bringing on a dietitian, a nutritionist, as well as someone who can actually make you a pregnancy exercise regime? Like you, of course, had two very strong pillars by your side in Rujuta and Namrata Purohit.
Yeah, yeah.
To recommend this to all women to go down like having a routine so that you can
I
actually.
think if you have access to it, I think it's amazing because even if you don't have, for mothers who can't, like, I mean, working mothers, or you don't have time and, you're working and still pregnant, I think just even the idea of being active, an idea of taking a walk for 30 minutes a day, it can change your mood, it can change the way you feel.
Right.
It's not just about maintaining the weight, it's also about, just staying fit and healthy, and of course, Rujuta has always been somebody who has, always spoken about the fact of eating healthy, eating local, eating organic. She's always been like that.
Right.
So following her has always been it's a part of my life. It's just something that I enjoy doing. And I think mothers, should just continue enjoying their life. And, of course, cravings and all that happens. But,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you can be fit, try to be as much as you can, I think that it really, really helps.
What about pregnancy blues, Kareena? How did you address those days where there were downer days? There were those what we call quintessentially as pregnancy blues. How did you address those days? Was it also family support, love and care, or just distance from everyone? How did you address it?
Uh, it's not like it's just pregnancy blues in the first. I think they're there. They last the entire year. It's not like now every day is like amazing. Even now, I mean, there are days of fear. So, that's just the way I feel. But I I, I try to push myself. I'm the kind of person that, likes to get out of the situation and take that challenge. That's just the
Right.
way, I am as a person, as everybody knows. So even if I'm down, or even if I'm feeling like, I'm tired, or I can't do this anymore, I obviously think of, happier things. I think of happier times. I think of, Jay sleeping. I look at him, and I'm like, okay, everything is worth it. Everything will be worth it.
Right.
And, I mean, I still do that. And I miss him, like, sometimes now when I go to work also. Even now, mothers have constant guilt. It's just a guilt syndrome that all mothers will, they just have it. They constantly feel that even if you're at work, oh my God, I'm missing out on that one moment. uh, I want to be there for everything. I just want to say that, if you're not happy, your child can't be happy. So,
Yes.
that we shouldn't,
Absolutely.
there should never be any guilt about that.
Well said about that. Well said. What was interesting for me that you used some homegrown remedies for like spotting. You used toothpaste. It was, of course, a homegrown remedy. Was that Babita auntie's little trick to you, or is it something that you learned on the way?
I think it was actually my grandmother's. In the book, like when you read the book, there are a lot of things that actually my dadi ji used to keep saying, ki
Right.
ye karna chahiye, wo karna chahiye. And that's what I think everyone has followed over the generations in the family also.
Right.
Like whether it was making the laddu, so that, if you
As
have those,
they call them the grandmother's tricks.
yeah, grandmother's trick, the gond ke laddus, that, or khao, so, obviously breastfeeding becomes easier.
Right.
So a lot of modern mothers are like, no, no, don't. But, these old wives' tales, as they say, and the grandmother hacks, I think they completely work. And I followed it by the book as to what she said.
Breastfeeding. There's a constant conjecture that surrounds breastfeeding. How many months do you breastfeed? What if you can't breastfeed? What is the guilt attached to not breastfeeding? And I know that one of your final comments in the book is that it's okay for technical reasons, emotional reasons, medical reasons. If you can't breastfeed, you can't take that guilt on. What would you like to tell women about all these speculations and traumas that surround breastfeeding?
The idea is, of course, because there is so much societal pressure that, this
Yes.
is the way it has to be done, or, this is what it is. I just feel that each mother, there's no crown for wearing the best mother in the world. Every mother is the best mother in the world. The
Yes.
fact that you've given birth to another human being, and you've had the ability and the capability of doing that, then you're the best mother in the world. There's no formula that, okay, you have to breastfeed for a certain time. Of course, 6 months is what they say is ideal.
Right.
You, to go up to, almost a year and a half. I mean, if you get that kind of milk, it would be amazing.
Right.
But some mothers and some women, due to hormonal reasons, it could be anything, thyroid, it could be, mental state of mind, they don't get enough milk. Sometimes if you have to do an emergency cesarean and, a C-section, it takes time for the milk to come, because when you're in a normal delivery, they say it comes faster. That's what they say. But when you operate, it takes time. So
Yes.
mothers have to have the patience to see that through. So I just feel that, just do the best you can. What
Yes.
works for each woman at
each
that point of
each
time.
mother has a separate circumstance, and I think
Yeah,
whether it's professional, personal, medical, emotional, it has to be
absolutely.
addressed accordingly. And what I love is that no one is giving you an award. There should not be
Yeah,
guilt attached to it because
there
it's
should
your
not be
personal
guilt.
circumstance.
And it
It's
doesn't make your, it doesn't make you love your child less. But of course, I feel if you have, if you're getting milk and if you can and you have the time, you have the ability to do it, I think it's the best feeling in the world, because it actually gives you that feeling of bonding with your
yes,
child and watching your child. It's a mother child moment. But there are millions around the world, like, who can't do it. And like today, I mean, people, families opt for surrogacy, families, different kind of situations, circumstances, that you're in one,
yes.
you have your two lovely children, but it doesn't make you love your child any less. It shouldn't
In
do you
fact,
any less.
I just feel, I used to have this guilt as a parent that I hadn't done any of the emotional and physical heavy lifting. And does that make me a lesser of a parent? And eventually I
Absolutely.
realized that the love that you can surround your children by is really what parenting is all about. Love, understanding, and compassion is what you need to give your children. I kept thinking, I'm
Absolutely.
a single parent and I didn't go through those processes that all women have had to go through. And yet I had the two beautiful Bonnie babies by my side. So I do get
Yeah.
what you're saying, that it's so individual,
Yeah.
everyone's decision where it comes to pregnancy. You know,
Absolutely.
Karina, mental health is such a discussion of relevance, importance, and sensitivity. And discussing it is really something that we have to do with utmost sensitivity and compassion. Um, Postpartum depression is something that many women have gone through and not been able to comprehend, understand. There are, of course, metabolical changes, there are hormonal changes,
Yeah.
and that results sometimes in postpartum depression. Did you individually go through that phase? And if yes, how did you deal with it? And if not, what would your advice be?
I think uh, sometimes mothers, even while they're in their last trimester, experience a lot of anxiety and depression, because you're about to deliver the baby, you're getting prepared for a new arrival into your life. How are you going to react? So it starts, I think, in the last trimester. A lot of a lot of us go through that.
Yeah,
And post, like I said, it can last 6 months, it can last a year.
correct.
uh, and like I said, sometimes even now I feel overwhelmed. I mean, like, think that, okay, I've gone through two pregnancies, I have two children. Like, how is it going to be? Even though I know it's the most normal thing. My sister, I mean, I've seen my sister, I've seen it, but
Yes.
I know, like, but still, it's just a thought sometimes that kind of scares you, that how is this journey going to be, and am I going to be good at it, or is everything going to be okay? But like I said, friends and my family, and I constantly keep surrounding myself with people, and I just being positive. Me, I'm very, very positive and
Yes.
a very happy
Always
person.
optimistic, positive, and always looking at the bright side of things.
Exactly. So that's the only way to kind of be,
Tackle
and
the
surround
situation.
yourself with people like that.
The other thing that there is always myths that surround, and women feel the guilt when they have to opt for a C-section, a cesarean,
Yeah.
as opposed to a normal delivery. There are always things told to you by old grandmother's tales, like we are saying again, where you say that, going through the beats of actually having a normal delivery is what really satiates a mother. It's when you really feel attached to your child. But again, there are medical circumstances. Again, there are issues that crop up, and you've had two cesareans, two C-sections. And I know that the very first one you weren't happy with, but it was medically advised you to go down that path. Your book states that, speaks about the cesarean trauma that you went through. Now, what would you tell women when they actually are confronted with this cesarean situation and they actually bear that guilt, that am I not going to feel that umbilical cord connection if I don't have a normal delivery?
Again, I think it's this societal pressure and this taboo that, okay, this is the way it is. You can't have a cesarean. Of course, everyone wants to go through, a normal delivery. No woman wants to, cut 35 layers into her body and do it. I think that, sometimes circumstances, just, there are situations that take place like that, but I don't see the guilt, about it. There
Yes.
can never be guilt. The idea is that however it is, my child comes into my arms, and when that minute they, give you your child in your arms, I think everything just
Everything
disappears.
vanishes.
And
Everything
in
vanishes.
fact, it's just the idea is that every mother should in fact have a choice to opt for however they want, however they're comfortable with.
Right.
you know. It's not
Exactly.
just, of course, sometimes they have to do an emergency cesarean like we had to do in the first one, for my
Yes,
first one.
with Temur.
So I think sometimes, you know, I mean, even now, I think the mother should be given the choice as to how she wants and how she feels.
The other thing your book very bravely, and I say brave only because of the environment sometimes we're surrounded by, where they talk about sex as a taboo topic,
Right.
pregnancy and sex, and your regular sex life is always addressed. And it's like many women, like it's off limits for so many women in the 9 month drain that they go through in the 9 month duration of their pregnancy. You yourself spoke about how you lost your sex drive, and you know your husband was very understanding through those days. Now, what is it, the notions that surround a sex life during a woman's pregnancy, and then what does a woman feel herself? Can you expand on that and express to everyone watching today?
You know, I think that again, people just feel like, okay, I mean, you know, if when you're pregnant, they don't realize the kind of, like you said, you know, moods, emotions, feelings, what you actually feel about yourself. You know, that's so important.
Right.
Some days I would feel super like amazing and sexy and feel like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm looking so, you know, like hot with this belly. And I feel amazing. And like, you know, I would tell Seth that, you know, I'm
Right.
feeling really amazing. Or he would say, you know, like, you're looking beautiful. But there were times like in, you know, post like 6, 7 months where I felt like I, of course, I was exhausted and I couldn't get myself, you know, to like get
Yeah.
up sometimes in the morning. But
Yeah.
sometimes you're just like, you know, it's just a feeling of repulsion, you know, you're just like in
Yeah.
a mental state where you just, you know, don't know what to think.
Right.
And it's so, like I said, it's so important to have a supportive man. And
Yes.
most men should not put pressure on their wives to A,
Yeah.
look beautiful while they're
Yes.
pregnant, B, feel they're any less
Yes.
than, you know, like when they're
Exactly.
not pregnant. That pressure shouldn't be there. Or the fact that, you know, this is it and our regular sex life has to be completely like super active. It has to be according to the way what the woman feels
Right.
and what she's feeling at that minute. And
Right.
if your husband doesn't understand that, then how can he be the father of your child? How can he probably not? I mean, you know, he has to love you in every form, aspect, every way. So
Yes.
I just feel that, you know, it's a topic that probably, you know, I've written in the book because most women feel scared to talk about it.
Yes. Yes.
You know, they
No,
don't, or embarrassed to address it.
here's what really, really impressed me about the book is that I think for the first time in a very long time, I've read autobiographies that have been brave. I had people, you know, talk about their lives in their memoirs. But I think it's very critical. It's very critical for men and women to read your pregnancy Bible because it really takes you through a journey. And it's a very inclusive journey. And
It
that's what
is.
I loved most about it because I felt like it gave me as a reader, a viewer, into your pregnancy durations for both your babies. It
Yeah.
talked about your highs, your lows, your mid levels of emotion. It talked about your fears, your insecurities, and your happiness and joy as well. There's a lot of joy in the book. There's so much joy,
Yeah.
but there's also those deep, dark areas that women go through. And from what I
Hmm.
understand, Kareena, what you're basically the crux of what you've told us so beautifully is that it's so individualistic. And every decision has to be yours because you are the master and mistress of that decision. You know, whether
Yeah.
it comes to your breastfeeding, it comes to your personal sex life, it comes to your decision to opt for a cesarean or not, whether it's advised or not by the doctor, it's your own. Whether you choose to be active, you choose to be inactive, you choose to, I mean, you can only say like, yes, you recommend a dietitian, yes, you recommend a trainer, but if you can't, for various reasons, not have those by your side,
Yeah.
then you have to do what's best for yourself. And what my last question really in this turf is like, how do you block all the noises? Because everybody has advice to give when it comes to pregnancy. You know,
Yeah.
it's your family, your friends, everybody will tell you how to handle this or handle that, do this, do that, go there, go there. How do you block that noise and do your own thing? How does Kareena Kapoor Khan do that?
I think that, you know, I mean, I am the kind of person that anyway, I think, you know, I listen to everybody and I take it out from the other ear and
Suno
do
sabki
what
karo
I
apni.
think. Huh. That is the way I live my life. I've done that even when everyone was like, like, oh my God, why are you doing this? Why are you getting married? Or why are you doing this? Why are you like, oh my God, now she's gonna have another baby, then another baby. And you know me, I just hear everybody and I'm just like, okay, this is it. I want to do what I want to do. And I think every woman, pregnant or not pregnant, should think in this way. Of course, it's a pregnancy Bible, but I also believe that even post delivery, every woman should, she should just be the way she wants to be, guilt
Yes.
free, breastfeeding like you addressed, going to work, which even I
Yes.
go through. I think it should just be fearless, because that's
Be
the way I
fearless.
am and I've lived my life.
And I'm sorry I said that was the last question, but I'm intrigued about one piece of advice that I'd like you to give to women in your fraternity, in your entertainment industry. Myths that tell you that, pregnancy, being married, you've broken all those shackles. You're a massive movie star today. At age 40, you own your career, you own your life, you're a movie star, you have two children, you have a satiated personal life and an absolutely fantastic professional existence. You're shooting some of the biggest movies in the business as you speak, mother of two. How would you like to talk to the women in your industry and say that please do not conform to these myths that say marriage is the end of the road, pregnancy is the end of the road, having children means you won't get certain kinds of roles? Just talk about how there's a plethora of entertainment work that's coming to so many solid actors, and they shouldn't be pressurized by these so-called myths that surround us.
I think that, you know, when I got married about 10 years ago, almost a decade ago, at that time everyone was like, career's over, career khatam ho jayega, kuch nahi milega, ye, wo, and you know, the typical things. But I think, you know, you being a filmmaker, cinema is changing today.
Yes.
Actors, I mean, today every possible, I mean, the best of actresses are married, whether it's Deepika Padukone or I mean, Vidya Balan. I think everybody, and I think they all have, you know, followed suit, followed their heart, and are, you know, flying. And filmmakers are, you know, being brave enough to make films the way, you know, whether it's Shakun and you making a film with
Yes.
Deepika, whether a film like Sherni today being made, or Amir Khan casting me in Laal Singh Chaddha. I think that it's very, very brave of filmmakers to be giving us married women
I don't
what
even
we
call it
deserve.
bravery, Kareena. I just think
Yeah,
solid actors need to constantly work and do solid roles. Whether they are married,
absolutely.
pregnant, mothers, how should that matter? It
I'm
should not
happy that,
matter at all.
you know, a mainstream filmmaker like you is thinking like that, because
Yeah.
that's just the way it is, you know. I mean, otherwise, I was pleased, yeah. We can't even call it cinema then. I'm happy that, you know, where this is where we are today.
Well, I'm going to end with three very quick rapid fire questions because how can we not be on the hot seat with you? But very simple family,
But
pregnancy
no
myths.
hamper. There's no hamper this time.
Well, the hampers, all the love you're getting in all the comments, I can see it's the abundant love. Very
Yeah.
quickly, and I'm going to say it's a bit of a well, it's not a good choice to give any mother, but a romantic date with Seth by the mountains with a glass of wine, or a play date with your two children. What is your big preference after a hard day's work?
Oh God, what is my preference after a hard day's work? Oh, guilty, not guilty. It's a tough one, Karan, because I'm very selfish and I and I love my time with Seth. And if I
Yeah,
don't get my time with Seth, I won't be good to the babies, because then I'll be
well
like,
done.
you know, I want to be. So I think a half an hour with Seth and then 1.5 hours with the babies.
Okay, fantastic. I love that. Also, whose advice do you listen to much more, your mother's or your sister's?
Uh, well, I think, I mean, like, yeah, my sister is, I mean, you know, we're like, you know, we're actually
She's
like
your
one.
pillar.
So,
She's your big,
yeah,
strong pillar.
she's, yeah. I mean, it's not possible. I can't think beyond her.
All right. Okay, fantastic. One thing that during your pregnancy you loved about Seth, and one thing you did not like about him.
Oh God, I loved everything about the time with Seth, because we were in a lockdown and I got him completely to myself,
Yeah.
and which was amazing because we got a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I hated then when, like, if he had to travel and go away and I would be alone, and you
Yeah.
know, there would be like times that, yeah, I would just feel a little lost. And he
Yeah.
didn't even want to like go out and meet family or friends. And I would be like, you know, just lying in bed alone. And I would think about him. So I would hate it that, you know, he wouldn't be there. And then sometimes I would fight with him. So I regret that.
And what was your guilty pleasure during your two pregnancies? Or were there different guilty pleasures?
Guilty pleasure, I think it was all over Instagram, and it's pepperoni pizza. I'm obsessed. You know that I'm obsessed with pizza.
All right. So pizza was the guilty pleasure during your pregnancy.
It
Well,
still is a guilty pleasure.
well, Kareena Kapoor Khan, I am so proud of you. The Kareena Kapoor Khan's Pregnancy Bible, the ultimate manual for moms to be, I believe it is, by Jagannath Books, written with Aditi Shah Bhimjiani. I
Yeah.
really think that hats off to Jagannath Books, to Chiki Sarkar, for actually even coming out with this fantastic idea to tell this story through you and
I
your
know.
experiences. And I think every woman, every man, and I don't make this about women because I think men need to read about pregnancy much more than women do.
Much
Because
more.
their level of compassion really has to be at an all-time high where it comes to their wives, their spouses, their girlfriends, their partners' pregnancy. So, I mean, I salute you. And I think everyone out there, the brave Kareena Kapoor Khan, who has actually broken myths, broken shackles, emerged victorious, maintains her superstar status, and yet has maintains a solid role as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife. Kareena Kapoor Khan, it was an absolute pleasure to do this Insta Live with you. We have
Yes,
we,
thank
we, uh, uh, we actually have so many questions. I wish we could take just one or two very quickly from the audience. Guys, you have a question? This is your last chance. We're going to actually ask you. Just take. I'm only getting lots of love coming your way, Bebo. Just love,
Yes.
hearts, emojis. Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah, they're all.
Bebo, you look so cute. I mean, you're not cute. You're gorgeous. Okay. Anyone has a question? Anyone in the house who has a question to ask Kareena Kapoor? Oh, somebody just said Shersha will be a blockbuster. I love that. Oh,
Yes,
skin.
wow.
Somebody's asking for skincare tips. Do you have any skincare tips?
Skincare tips. Well, I think my mom has wonderful skin, so I'm quite like, I think I've gone
Qureshi
after
S.
her.
Qureshi S wants to know about skincare tips.
Skincare tips. I drink lots of water. I drink 3 liters of water a day. Yeah, lots of yoga and almond oil.
Almond oil. Okay, fantastic. How do you stay positive? Is the last question. It has come from Rashi Das World, is the handle. Rashi wants to know how do you stay positive?
I think that, I derive positivity from surrounding myself with a lot of positive people around me and not focus on the trolls, not focus on negative people. Like I just shut my door. They don't exist for me. And I think that makes me really happy. So yeah, I'm around happy people.
And sorry, the last question from Shikha Smother is like, how do you deal with weight gain post pregnancy, which also happens? Did that happen to
Of
you?
course. Yes. I mean, I put on 26 kgs and I'm still on my way to getting fit. But yeah, I mean, I think I go back, you try to take out at least 40 minutes 4 times a week and squeeze in a little bit of a nice workout and don't push yourself too hard. I think that is key. And give it some time because, if it takes 9 months to make a baby and, stretch the body, it will also take 9 months to 1 year to get back. So easy on yourself.
All right. Fantastic, Bebo. Thank you so much. And I beseech
Thank
everyone, I'm going
you.
to say this again, make this yet another flash for the Kareena Kapoor Pregnancy Bible, Kareena Kapoor Khan's Pregnancy Bible, Jagannath Books. Well done, Chiki Sarkar. And thank you to the team and also to your co-writer, Aditi Shah Bhimjiani, who
Yes,
actually
for
helped you
being
put
the
this book
voice of
together.
reason and the voice behind this book. Aditi was actually the voice behind the book, and I mean, a heartfelt thank you to her for actually, putting this whole thing together for us.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, Jagannath. And most importantly, thank you, Kareena. Thank you so much
Thank
to
you,
all the
Karan,
thousands
and
of
we
fans
love
that have,
you.
and I love you too. And we will now chat on the phone right after this.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Bye bye.
Karan.
Take care.